Hey skaters, it's Stace here from Next Touch Tutorials. In today's lesson, I'm going to be showing you the consecutive outside and inside spiral pattern. So if you aren't familiar with this pattern, it's an adult silver pattern moves in the field. Now, I'm going to be showing you what the pattern looks like and then giving you my top 3 tips on how to help you out when learning this pattern. So what are we waiting for? Let's jump in and get started. So you're gonna see me start from standstill. I'm gonna do some intro steps. I'm gonna move down the ice with forward outside and then come around with forward inside. So there's your pattern. Now, what did we just see? On the first line, you saw me do outside spirals, and we were able to transition them with a 2-foot glide in between and then push out to the other spiral. Then around the ends, I did nice stroking, and then I came back down the ice with forward inside spirals, and the same principle, feet together, bend and push onto that inside spiral. Now, another thing is we want to make sure that we do 5 lobes. So 5 outside spirals and 5 inside spirals. Now, let's break it down a bit more. All right, so if you're really enjoying this lesson and you're wanting to know more about turns that you might come across in figure skating, I want you to click on the link below in the description for your free PDF guide on the 4 turns that we have in figure skating. This goes over our 3 turns, our brackets, our counters and rockers, forwards, backwards, inside and outside. The more you know about figure skating, the easier it is to pick up on it so that when your coach starts talking about it, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, I already know what a counter turn is, or a bracket turn, or a rocker. So give it a click and look over it. Now, in our pattern, we do not have a drawn out axis on the ice. We have to use our imagination. So while we're learning this and practicing it, I'm gonna take it to the barrier and use this blue line that runs across the ice just to help you understand a bit more the pattern. So we're gonna start with the forward outside spirals. I am going to use a little bit of speed because spirals are always easier with some speed. Dead still spirals are hard to do. So I'm gonna get a little bit of speed. I'm gonna push onto my left forward outside, make sure that left arm is in front. I'm gonna push, get balance, and then go forwards. And then I'm gonna draw up, then bend and push, and then tip over. Roll it up, bend, push, and then forward. I do this gather here, re-bend, push, and then hit the spiral. I'm not trying to go up into that spiral immediately when I step on that foot because that could lead to a fall or 0 balance because I have to create a nice lobe that comes around. They want to see that beautiful lobe that you can maintain on that outside edge. All right, now we're going to break down inside edges the exact same way, putting it on an axis so we know when to change feet. So I am going to get a little bit of speed. I'm going to put my right arm in front because I'm pushing up into a right forward inside spiral, balance, then forwards, holding. Bring my feet together, get balance, push, and then forwards over into that spiral. Balance, push, and up. Balance, push, and up. Now, as you can see, you can go on an axis back and forth because sometimes it is difficult to know when to push. You can also start maybe counting in your head so that you have even lobes, like you push up, then hold the spiral, 1, 2, 3, feet together, bend and then push, and then hold the spiral 3 counts because we need something to give us even amounts on our right and our left leg. All right, now we're gonna go down the ice. I'm gonna talk you through it, focusing on those things that we did on the short axis. So we have our intro strokes here. I'm gonna make sure that I'm always bending before I push, bend and push, bend and push, bend and push, pull up. Then we push, and then I hold it. 1, 2, 3, pull up, bend, push, hold, 1, 2, 3, pull up. Bend, push, lift, 1, 2, 3, pull up, bend, push, 1, 2, 3, pull up. This will be our last lobe. 1, 2, 3, pull up, then nice stroking. Now right forward inside, lift, hold, 1, 2, 3, pull up, push, and hold, 1, 2, 3, pull up, push, 1, 2, 3, draw it up, switch the arms, push, hold, 1, 2, 3, pull up. Now this is our last lobe, holding, 1, 2, 3, draw it up, nice exit, and step forward. And there's your pattern. So we focused on the outside edges and the inside edges. Now let's talk about 3 things that I always like to remember and to do when I teach. So the very first thing is when I do forward outside spirals, I like to make sure that if I'm balancing on my left leg, my left arm is in front. So I push, I get balance, and then I go forward because I find it's easier to maintain that nice, beautiful outside edge when I have the same arm and same leg. I do find it very difficult if I go square because it can lead to a spin where I'm twisting around for that spiral. It doesn't call for a deep lobe. It's just a nice curve. So we just want to maintain that edge a bit more. So push, and then we balance here. Now look what happens when I either go square. It just rolls it in a bit more, and then you might be doing 8 lobes instead of 5 because we need to remember the pattern calls for 5 lobes, so we want to try to replicate that and do the 5 lobes. All right, the second thing that we're going to remember while doing this pattern is gather ourselves on 2 feet because it says it in the pattern. It says from one leg, 2 to 1. So use it. Do not try to be a hero and go from one spiral right away to the other spiral. You want to be exact with the patterns because the goal is to pass the pattern. Now, I want you to remember after you do push forward outside spiral, I want you to go 2 feet, gather yourself before you bend and push out again. Yes, can you do from a left forward outside spiral, right away, a right one? Yes, you can. But you have to remember, we want to try to follow the pattern, and it's so much easier on 2 feet and then push to the other spiral versus one leg, then the other leg, because then you might get issues there with too much bobbing back and forth, yeah? So we want to make sure 2 feet and then bend and push and hold. All right, now the third tip that I want you to remember is make sure you push. Make sure after we gather our feet together, we re-bend before we push out. We don't want to go feet together and nothing. because it is so much harder to do 5 lobes moving down the ice at a dead standstill. So when you go for the spiral, I want you bending, pushing, then lifting the leg, gathering yourself, re-bend and push, and hold. Now I'm gonna show you what it looks like when we don't push. We gather and nothing. It's gonna be really hard to make it all the way down the ice. So please remember to bend and push in between so that you have those gorgeous spirals. Now, I don't know if my leg was higher than 90 degrees, but we want the spiral to be higher than 90 or right at 90, just because it makes it beautiful to look at. So we want to make sure that that leg, we get balance, and then you push it up there and hold. Again, you can practice these off the ice to help your strength and flexibility on the ice. All right, there you have it. That is your consecutive outside and inside spiral pattern. Now, if you have any questions about this, ask your coach, ask a local judge, because they might have specific things that they're looking for that can just help you out even more on the test. Thanks for watching Next Set Tutorials and looking forward to seeing you in our next lesson.